Bacon biscuits brown. The only song that I can sing is Bob and Cabby Town.
Welcome to Iver's Declassified Modern Survival Guide. Today we're going to be talking about collecting sap and boiling it down in our little evaporator. So right now I'm checking out this tree, and this tree's name is Rocky.
We named it last time.
Remember? And the thing about it is he's a rock maple, so he's rocky. So let's see if Rocky did anything for us. It hasn't been that great because it hasn't been freezing really very well. So let's see if I can peel this thing off here. Gotta get it slowly. And the good thing about this is, see, rain can't get in, nothing can get in there, but also, obviously, I can't get in there either.
Tied it in Fort Knox.
So I'll tell you what, if I can get it open just a little, there he goes.
Let's see.
If I can get it open just a little, it'll pour out.
What's that?
So it's pretty good,
Yeah.
considering it didn't freeze the last 2 nights. So,
Probably a half gallon.
yeah, we're getting there.
Quarter.
Every tree does pretty good. I try not to diss them at all. Rocky is one of the best though. If you're gonna compare trees, Rocky is the best. So now we're gonna go further up the hill here, and we're gonna check out what we got up here. And than trying to just lug the buckets by hand. If you do, you get worn out pretty quick here. Even with 20 trees, it can be a lot. This guy, doing a little. And this one here again is a Norway maple. So Norway maples don't do quite as well as the sugar maples.
Threaded bucket.
But this is what we got.
Nice.
Not too much. Not too much at all. But you know, when we get these days when it freezes and unthaws, then, and it looks like next week, we're gonna get some more of them. So we're not done yet. We're getting close. Yeah, the threaded bucket is good because otherwise I could spill it all.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully we'll lug it up the hill here. Okay, here we are at a little evaporator, and I decided, like, once we got, we sold our maple sugar house and stuff, I decided to become a deluxe backyarder. So I got this at CDL in Wilton, and it's got a little drippolator, so I can, like, slowly drip a little bit of sap in. And see, as it comes down, I just drip a teeny bit. I like to have it go just enough so there's just a little dribble. A little more, like that. A little tiny dribble. Because that'll feed itself. See? And then little by little, it feeds. And I like to keep the level right about the level of this thermostat, what do you call it? This thermometer right here. And this thermometer only tells you when you get to boiling and then 7 degrees above boiling. That's what all I really need. It has a little pour off, and here's you get a kind of a nice little boil going. It doesn't boil as crazily as our other one because our other one had flues, but this one here has a flat pan, so it just boils kind of nicely, which is actually good for a backyarder because then you can go run around and get your buckets. You don't have to worry about leaping out of the pan or anything. Yeah. So it's perfect for what I'm doing, which is my goal this year is to make 1 gallon. See if I can get to 1 gallon. I already bought the little jugs, and we're going to see if we can make 1 gallon this year.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? That's just, it's good to have a goal, isn't it? So little by little, now we got to feed the evaporator, because the evaporator wants to get fed. Now the thing about it is, it's not good, not efficient like a wood stove. You're not really trying to heat yourself. You're trying to boil that sap. So it likes to eat wood. And fortunately I have some here. This is all cut out of the backyard. So I'm literally backyard boiler using backyard wood. Fortunately a big ash fell over, so been using it to heat the house and for this right here.
Yeah.
And fortunately it's right here, so okay, that's probably good. So then you just stuff the firebox. You never keep it anything but stuffed. And then close her up, and then she's just gonna feed herself a little slowly but surely with this little drippolator right here. And then when it gets to 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, I'm gonna pour it off. But we're not there yet. All we've succeeded in doing the last 2 or 3 boils is sweetening the pan. So that's what you have to do to start out with. You think about it, it's 40 gallons of maple syrup, maple sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So that takes a lot of boiling down. So I probably had 20 or 30 gallons already that have come through. So here's the 20, 30 gallons have turned down now into 5 or 6 or 7 gallons. So really, this isn't going to be done until it gets boiled down to about half a gallon. So I'm getting close, little by little.
You think it'll be pretty light, like high grade?
Yes, I think it'll be pretty light. I think it's going to be like medium, a medium, because I collected all with buckets. Let's try a little bit of sap tea, which is just sweet sap. So let's see if it's getting sweeter. I gotta let her cool off a little. Oh, it's sweet. That is wicked sweet. You would love this, I'm telling you. It's got a little maple leaf on it. So it makes for a nice, refreshing, super sweet beverage as you're boiling sap.
Okay.
Well, we boiled our sap down a little more, and we're starting to get some nice color on this side over here. Notice it's looking a little bit more sort of brownish, and we're getting closer and closer. But we have boil over here. We don't really have boil in this end section. But little by little, we're getting closer and closer. And then eventually I'm going to pour this off. I'm going to put it in a pot, and I'm going to finish it in the house. But I don't want to do that until pretty late, because I don't want to boil the wallpaper off the walls. But then I use a hydrometer, like I used to in my other sugar house. Use a hydrometer to check to see that it's thick enough. You want it 66 bricks. You want it kind of thick.
What does a hydrometer measure?
Hydrometer just measures, you just put a little cup, you put it in a little cup, and we can actually film this in a second, but put it in a little cup and it shows you that the sap is ready. The syrup is ready when it floats at a certain height. I'll show you in a sec. And this is my little sugar shack, which I got a permit for because we're in shoreland zoning here in Skowhegan. So I had to ask for a shoreland zoning permit, but they said okay for my little sugar shack in the backyard. And this is my little tank right here. And they used to keep the tank right next to the boiler, but it started to melt. So it's much better in its place right now. And I went down to Quinn's Hardware the other day, and they showed me, and we managed to rig this up so that now we can pour off right into, you know, a bucket or something. We can pour off the sap. So that way I can kind of store it up in this little tank right here.
But you're boiling off all you had in there now.
Got boiling off everything we have right now. And it won't take too long. I mean, I only have 5 or 6 gallons to boil down. And this does about, the way I see it, it's probably like 3 gallons an hour. 3 gallons an hour, 4 gallons an hour probably.
Pretty good.
Which is pretty good for this little tiny, tiny evaporator. And since everything is on a smaller scale now, I can do it without it eating my life, which it used to do. It used to totally eat my life. Every time there was sugar season, I would lose like 8 or 10 pounds because I didn't have time to eat. So
Running up and down the hill.
running up and down the mountain there, tapping, and it was great fun. But like a couple of years ago, I'm standing on a ladder on my snowshoes, and I was drilling as high up as I could, which was fun. But I thought, in a couple of years, I'm not going to be able to do this. So we sold it to some young folks, and they are sugaring, and they're doing a great job. So,
Do you have a name for this place?
this one is, well, our old one was named Shea Lundorf. This one is, I guess it's Mount Pleasant Boilers.
Yeah.
Because they're on, you know, Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
Mont Plaisant.
On Plaisant.
Yes. So it's a kind of a little version of it, and it's, you know, kind of nice to sit out here. I'm now a totally fair weather boiler because I don't want to sit out here in the rain or any kind of inclement situation. I just sit out here on nice days and boil, and I can do that because I don't have that much to boil. So we'll take a look at the hydrometer. I'm going to go grab the hydrometer and we'll come back down here and I'll show you how that works. And then you'll know how to make syrup.
Whole thing.
This is what I like to do, is I like to have some way of filtering the sap as I pour it off. So see, I just have a little coffee filter. So I'm going to pour some off, and I'm going to make sure it goes through that filter, okay? And then I'll tell you the truth, I just throw that filter into the evaporator. You see, it does pick up a little bit of stuff. Oh, sugar. All right. So we have to have a little bit of slapstick every time, don't you think? Anyway.
Should we redo it?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
Whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. All right, this is just for demonstration purposes only. You want to try not to have that happen, okay? But since that's become a part of Iver's modern declassified survival guide, we have to do at least one slapstick moment every time.
Yeah.
So anyway, theoretically, you filter your sap as it comes into here. Then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put it on the cooker up to the house there, and I'm just gonna boil and boil and boil and boil, and listen to WXNZ, of course. I'm just gonna sit there. I like to have a stool, sit at the stove, and just slowly boil away. And then when it gets to 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, you can be pretty sure it's getting close. Okay? So then you're going to take your syrup, which is now much thicker than this is, and you're going to pour it into something everybody calls a hydrometer cup, okay? The thing about this is it's taller than a typical cup thing, and I like to keep this in a little bowl or something so it doesn't stickify everything. Anyway, and then I'm gonna fill this up with actual syrup. This is just water. It's just thin right now. And then I'm gonna put the hydrometer in it, and the hydrometer will basically tell me whether or not, and this is like kind of fragile, so anyway. Hopefully I don't do anything with it. But anyway, part of the... So this is a glass thingy, you see? And what it does is it floats at a certain height. And when it floats at this line right here, which says hot test 211 degrees, 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, then you know that your syrup is ready. All right, so I'm going to kind of put it in there like that, and when it floats like this, that syrup is ready, and then you can bottle it. Okay, so that is how you do it. And you can also use a thermometer, but if you use a thermometer, try to get it to at least 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, or even higher actually, because it usually doesn't work out exactly right if you don't do that, you know? You got to get it to 7 degrees above boiling. or it won't do nothing. So then, if you do get a chance to get a hydrometer though, and a hydrometer cup, it's well worth it, because then everything you send to people or give to people, etc. Like my sister always wants her free syrup, even though I'm not producing as much. Funny how she still needs her syrup, right? Anyway, when you send it to her and to whoever, you know that it's going to last like 2 years because it's thick enough. The 66 bricks, or the thickened syrup, is just thick enough so that it will be shelf stable for a couple of years, and it doesn't crystallize into like maple sugar. So you want to go right around that exact point there, you know. So definitely try to get a hydrometer, and also, you know, it's also a very good idea to get some kind of a thermometer. And it's great to have a thermometer that just clips onto your pot while you're boiling. So I'm going to dump this back in because it ain't ready yet. But it's getting close. We're getting closer. Every moment we're getting closer. So then, you want to get yourself a big pot like this. And sometimes you can have 2 or 3 of these pots boiling, but you know, it gets a little hectic if you have more than 1 or 2. But this is about the right size. You want it kind of tall, because what happens is if it boils and it starts to boil over in there, you want to kind of be watching it. So you got to watch it all the time. They say a watch pot never boils. Well, I can guarantee you, whenever you don't watch it, is when it boils over.
Yes.
And it also gets all foamy, and it foams over. And then you want to have a little secret at all times. You want to have some of this stuff, olive oil spray. And so if it starts to like foam over in the evaporator or in the pot, you just take it off and you give it the tiniest shot. Did you get that?
Yeah.
The tiniest shot, and then it'll just, it's like
oil
boom, boom,
will-
boom, 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 and it, whoo, it'll go right down.
Yeah.
So it's a very good idea to have something to knock down the boiling. Some people used to use butter or pork fat, all sorts of stuff like that. But you know, if somebody's vegetarian or vegan or something, and they come visit your sugar house and they see that you're using a big glob of pork fat hanging over your evaporator, it's not a good look. Or they could be Orthodox, you know,
Yeah.
Jewish or something.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to like make this a, you know, a family-friendly type of thing that anybody could eat and enjoy. They don't have to worry about sort of something
Yeah.
crazy, you know. So, and it's kind of fun this way because you sit in the backyard forever, let the steam kind of come out. I sometimes call it you're sending steam to heaven.
Yeah.
So you're sending all this steam to heaven, and you're sitting out here in this sort of steamy environment here, getting the steam. It's definitely the elixir of spring. I hope you guys get to try it, and we'll see you next time on the next edition of Iver's Declassified Modern Survival Guide. This is a good thing to do because there's always a bit of crud in the sap that you're getting, right? So I like to put a little cheesecloth in here, and then that's a strainer, and then I got my sap right here, because there's always like, if you look at it, there's bark and crud in there, right? So this should hopefully, between the two of them, this will catch it. I'm gonna strain it through. So I get rid of, see? A little bit of junk there. Caught it. Yeah. Caught it. And then I'll dump a little more in here. And then that's what I got today. That's all I got. Then we're done for,
Might not take all
I
that.
don't think it's gonna take it all. But see, I catch most of the junk this way. Oh, it's close. It's gonna be close. How's it doing there? Yeah, it's gonna be close. All right.
You got it? Yeah.
I got it all, so then I take my little cheesecloth here and see all that junk on there?
Yeah.
That would have been in the sap. That could have been in the syrup. So I like to try to get rid of that stuff. Give it a little whip here. Get rid of the junk on there.
Again.
Sorry, is that good?
Yeah.
There's a little action for the TV. See, get rid of all that junk. Then I'm gonna hang this up here to dry. And we got a fall thing here. So it's probably gonna be another hour or so boiling. So that's a good activity for a retired guy like me. This is what I do all day.
Yeah.
Geez, it might be nice to sit around and boil sap all day. Godfrey, I wish I could do that. Well, I used to do it when I was working, and it got a little insane. We would like boil until midnight or 1 a.m., and it got a little crazy. But now, I can kind of pick my days. And so March is what I'm doing. It doesn't sound too ambitious, but it's kind of fun. And we end up with a nice product, which is maple slurpage. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.